Greetings everyone, it's Ashley, and today I'm at Universal Orlando. Summer is in full swing and Universal has been rolling out a bunch of new things that you can enjoy if you're visiting the parks over the next few months, like the How to Train Your Dragon pop-up over at Islands of Adventure. There's also a newish spot to get sweet treats over at Universal Studios Florida, and the roaming M3GAN Horde that debuted during Halloween Horror Nights has returned to the park. So it's going to be quite a busy day. So let's get inside the park and check out some of the fun new additions that you can enjoy at Universal this summer. So one of the first things I want to mention is over here in City Walk. The Cinemark Theater is hosting a summer movie series. Now this started in May with E.T., but it continues until August with movies like Despicable Me, Bridesmaids, Shrek, and Shaun of the Dead. This is a great way to beat the heat because this might not be the first time I mention it in the video. It is hot this summer. So you can sit in a nice air-conditioned movie theater and watch a movie. The next thing I want to talk about is something I've already mentioned in previous videos, but I'm going to mention it again because I keep hearing from people who are just finding out about this, and that is that you can now get butterbeer outside of the theme parks. So this is part of the expansion of the Universal Studios store over here in City Walk. They added a section where you can buy butterbeer, so you can get the frozen and cold versions of butterbeer. And you know, this is nice because for the longest time the only way you could get butterbeer was inside the parks, but that is no longer the case. So now it's time to go see some dragons. No, I'm not going to Epic Universe. I wish. I'm actually getting ready to head over into Islands of Adventure, where they have the How to Train Your Dragon pop-up experience over in the Lost Continent. So over here, Universal has added a few activities to promote its live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. By the way, I've seen the movie and I actually really liked it. I really enjoyed it. So if you are a How to Train Your Dragon fan and you've been kind of on the fence about the movie, I recommend you check it out because it's very good. So as you enter the Lost Continent area over here, you can see that they have this giant sign that says How to Train Your Dragon right over here over the archway, and then right behind that sign they have a very large dragon. This is Stormfly, which is one of the dragons featured in the movie. So around the area, Universal has added some decorations tied to How to Train Your Dragon. So we have some banners that say How to Train Your Dragon on them and feature some characters from the movie. We even have some of these signs here that feature dragons that you will see in the movie. They've also added this gift shop here that has merchandise that's tied to the movie, as well as merchandise that you would be able to find over at Isle of Berk. That's the How to Train Your Dragon themed land at Epic Universe. And this is nice because if you haven't yet been to Epic Universe, or even if you've been to Epic Universe and there's been some How to Train Your Dragon merchandise that you really wanted, you haven't really been able to get it anywhere else, maybe except for like the preview center, but now you can get some of that over here. So they have t-shirts and mugs, they have plushes of Toothless and some of the other dragons. They even have these dragon masks. They have just a bunch of things, toys. So if you're looking for How to Train Your Dragon merchandise, this is where you can get it. So right across from the gift shop, they have this really cool Toothless photo op. Now, it's not as cool as the Toothless photo op over at Epic Universe, over at Isle of Berk, just because that one features an animatronic of Toothless that interacts with you in real time, and occasionally Hiccup will show up. But this one's still cool if you are a How to Train Your Dragon fan. This is one of those step-in photo ops, so you just step behind Toothless here, you can take your picture, and it looks like you're flying through the clouds on the back of Toothless. They have this green button here that you can press, and it activates a fan above, I guess to create that wind effect like you are actually flying. So they've added some kind of, extra thing to this photo op to kind of you know, make it a little bit more special, but yeah, it's still pretty cool. So right across from the Toothless photo op, they have this little mini exhibit that features replica props and costumes from the movie. So you can see a replica of Astrid's axe and shield, as well as a replica of Hiccup's axe and shield. They also have some drawings here, some of Hiccup's drawings of dragons and contraptions, and some other little props. As a movie nerd, I really like these little tie-ins like this. I like seeing some of the behind-the-scenes stuff like props and costumes, and learning a little bit about like the production. So it's really cool that they added this in here, and I hope they do more of this. All right, so I'm heading over into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter for another little update you should probably know about if you're visiting the parks. So for the first time ever, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure is now accepting Express Pass. So if you don't know what Express Pass is, basically it's a pass that allows you to bypass the regular line, skip the regular line, and this is the first time that this attraction has offered it. The reason I bring it up is because if you are planning on riding Hagrid's during your visit, this might change how you plan out your day. Just because now with the Express Pass line in use, it might cause the standby line wait times to increase. Of course, if you have Express, that's going to be a completely different thing, because obviously you won't be waiting in a really long line. And also, this is good news for pass holders that have the Premier Pass, because they get the Express After 4 benefit, and now they can use that benefit at Hagrid's. All right, so I've made my way over to Universal Studios Florida to check out what's happening over here at this park. My next stop is going to be right over here at the entrance, where they have opened up a brand new sweet shop. So this is Universal Suites. It actually used to be Studio Suites, and it was located right over there in that building. But they relocated it over here. This is where the old on-location shop used to be, and they gave it a new name. So inside you'll find a bunch of treats, snacks, desserts. Some of them are prepackaged, some of them are homemade. They have things like caramel apples and brownies and cookies, fudge. They even have some treats that are inspired by different Universal properties like Jaws and How to Train Your Dragon, even Wicked. So yeah, if you have a sweet tooth and you're looking for something to grab on your way into the park or even on your way out of the park, you can stop over here at Universal Suites. Now right across from that, in the old Studio Suites location, they've actually made that an additional part of the Universal Studios store. So there's now merchandise over there, and this is where you can find some of the Universal 35th anniversary merchandise, because Universal Studios Florida, the park that started all here for Universal Orlando, just celebrated its 35th anniversary. That was actually on June 7th, and so they have a bunch of merchandise to commemorate that. They also have some of the Jaws 50th merchandise in here as well. There's a lot of anniversaries happening over here at Universal. You know, Jaws is celebrating its 50th anniversary. You even have Back to the Future celebrating its 40th anniversary. So yeah, lots of cool little retro commemorative merchandise in there. So over here in the Hollywood area, Schwab's Pharmacy has gotten a mini Back to the Future makeover to celebrate the movie's 40th anniversary. So right now the windows are covered in these Back to the Future themed decals. So you have like the DeLorean, you have one for Einstein, there's a clock to represent the clock tower, and then right on the outside of the door they also have a sign for the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. Inside, the only change that they've made is that they've added 2 Back to the Future themed milkshakes to the menu. So one is the Rock and Roll Shake and the other one is Wake Up Juice. Another thing you can enjoy if you come to Universal Studios Florida this summer is the return of the M3GAN Horde. Now this is to promote M3GAN 2.0, which is coming out in theaters this month. The M3GAN Horde was really popular when it debuted during Halloween Horror Nights. So it wasn't like a scare zone, but they would just come out at different times and they would dance and kind of interact with the crowd. So they've kind of brought a smaller scale version of that here for the summer. So music will start playing, and then there are like probably about 6 or 7 so M3GANs that will make their way over here to the Hollywood section, and they'll dance, and then after they kind of do their dance, they just kind of hang around for meet and greets and photo ops. There's no scheduled times right now. I haven't seen any posted. They just kind of come out different times throughout the day. Speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, Halloween is fast approaching, at least here for the theme parks, and pretty soon it will be time for Halloween Horror Nights. In fact, Universal has already started dropping announcements for the event. We've already got a couple of house reveals and of course merchandise reveals. So we know that Five Nights at Freddy's is going to be part of Halloween Horror Nights this year. There's also going to be a house that's themed to the Amazon Prime Video series Fallout. There's also going to be a house that's themed to Friday the 13th, and it's going to be called Jason Universe, and that's the last one that they've announced so far. In fact, they also have merchandise out right now for Jason Universe. You can find it over here at the Five and Dime store, and anytime they do one of the Halloween Horror Nights reveals and the merchandise drops, that's where you can find the merchandise. So right now they have the Jason Universe merchandise, and then like right in the front display, and then on the other side they have the merchandise for the other houses and things that they've already revealed. So there's Fallout merchandise, there's also the initial Halloween Horror Nights reveal merchandise that has the Never Go Alone tagline. Now there's been one Halloween Horror Nights merchandise item that's been really popular so far this year, and that's this stained glass picture frame, and it has these different openings for different decals that you can put on. So with each reveal that they're doing for the like IP houses, you can get a decal to put in the frames. So I've made my way over to the San Francisco area of the park to check out the mini Jaws tribute that Universal has set up over here to celebrate the movie's 50th anniversary. They've added some Jaws merchandise over in the San Francisco Candy Company store. They also have a photo op that's a tribute to the Jaws ride that used to be here at the park. And they also have some props and things put out in this area. I already highlighted this Jaws tribute in a previous video that I did, but I wanted to come back over here because the last time I was here, they had these food stands out here, but they weren't open and they didn't have any menus. But now they're open and they have menus, and I wanted to try at least one food item from over here. Now these food stands are actually referencing actual dining spots that they had over in the Amity area back when they had the Jaws ride at this park, so it's a nice little throwback. All right, so I decided to get the funnel cake over here at the Midway Grill because I was craving something sweet. And you can either get it with the powdered sugar or the strawberry topping. I decided to get the powdered sugar, you know, keep it traditional. But yeah, this was really good. You can't go wrong with funnel cake, right? And what I really liked about it is the portion size, because it's nice and small. You know, typically when I see funnel cake in the parks, I really want it, but I don't get it just because it's too large. And especially just for me, if I'm eating it, that's just too big of a portion size. But this is nice. This is like having your own personal pizza, except it's funnel cake. So I had no trouble eating it and not feeling, you know, that it was too heavy, and also not wasting anything. So before I head out, there's one more update I wanted to share. Now, as many of you probably already know, that Rip Ride Rockit is closing permanently this year, but we now have an official closing date. So Universal says that the attraction will close on August 18th. Previously, Universal had said that it was going to close around September, mid-September, but obviously they moved that up. So if you have been planning to come in September to bid farewell to this coaster, you might want to change your plans. But yes, so it's RIP Rip Ride Rockit. It's going to be replaced with, quote, a new experience. Don't know what that new experience is yet. Universal hasn't said, but interesting thing happened just last week. Some construction walls went up over in the New York section right next to the Ghostbusters firehouse, and the construction walls have signs on them that reference the Ghostbusters firehouse. So that's led a lot of fans to speculate that maybe the attraction that's replacing Rip Ride Rockit might have something to do with Ghostbusters. I know a lot of people were previously speculating that Universal might change Rip Ride Rockit into a Fast and Furious coaster because Universal Studios Hollywood is getting a Fast and Furious coaster, and I think a lot of people have been hoping that they bring that coaster over here. But again, that's just speculation. Nothing has been announced, nothing has been confirmed on Universal's end. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. All right, so that's gonna wrap up my day here at Universal. We got through quite a lot of updates, and as you can see, there's plenty to do here at the parks this summer. So I hope you enjoyed joining me for all the updates at the parks, and of course there's going to be more to come as the summer goes on and as we get into Halloween Horror Nights season and then eventually the holidays. So of course, if you want to keep up with all the videos I'm posting here on the channel, like all the theme park vlogs and everything, all the updates in and around the parks, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. So thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.